Okay, so we got Polar spawning as the green Terran in the bottom position here on GSL Crossfire, and then we got owmygrown as the yellow Zerg at the top position. So again, about Crossfire, any comments on this map?
Oh yeah, again, as we were saying before, Crossfire is, of course, the remake of Peaks of Beidou from StarCraft 1. It does have a lot of interesting attack paths that you can take. You can take it, of course, the ramp to your natural is pretty wide open, but you have that main wide ramp, but if you move to the left, Zerg can actually expand there to the top left and then move to the very side and attack from there. So there's a lot of different ways you can flank, but at the same time, the ramps are not that wide. They're still kind of wide, but there's still chokes for them to not want to engage, so they have to be really careful on this map.
Yeah, exactly. And I was saying before, if Terran gets a positional advantage on this map, they get a real positional advantage on this map. As Zerg, you really need to be on top of your game to contain the Terran in their base.
Absolutely. And of course, you want to make sure, because the expansion is a little bit more open, especially since the third is really far away, it's going to be hard to defend. You can definitely look for Terrans, especially a Terran like Polar, to, if the game goes to the mid-game, to harass the third a lot with things like drops or different kinds of small ragtag team of forces to go and harass.
Oh, exactly. I watched the game, actually. Not Polar, but his teammate Shui playing as a Terran here, and he would just use the mobility of the bio of his marine force to just kind of scatter all over the map. And you would think the Zerglings all over the map would counter the mobility there, but actually, excuse me, just a little quick, denying the scout there, or denying the expansion really quick.
Ooh, but it looks like owmygrown still gets it off, so he does want to go for that hatchery first. And I guess he feels really comfortable because, again, hatchery first against Terran recently has been more of a revolution. They really want to get that economy up, especially because they want to be able to fend off any kind of early pressure.
Oh yeah, what people don't realize sometimes is that you want the hatchery out first, not for the economy, but also for the creep spread.
Absolutely.
Your Zerglings can move way faster on creep, so you can defend any bunker, any marine pressure. Very nice to just get that creep up and stop any harassment.
Now, it looks like owmygrown actually got into the base. Polar didn't keep him out. Instead, he's going to actually go for a gas steal, or at least to delay it. So nice job there, just to limit Terran's options. He did see the one gas, so he knows that owmygrown is not going to do any kind of two racks. Although I would like to see the fact that at his natural expansion, he usually Zergs put an Overlord there just to see if anything fishy like a bunker is out of their sight.
Yep. Well, it looks like he is sending an Overlord right over. It's still on its way. Looking back at owmygrown's base, nothing too weird going on right now. Factory opening, actually, from Polar. He's actually going to take down the extractor that owmygrown let finish.
Right, and of course, taking that gas does delay that factory a little bit, or the units he wants to go. So right now, Polar, of course, hiding a lot of information, especially because he doesn't have any add-on for his barracks yet.
Yep. Obviously, a lot of openings that he can do right now, Hellion, Blue Flame Hellion, or just go for a straight-up tank push, which is pretty powerful on this map. Looks like he's just going to go for an expansion right now.
Right, and actually, I kind of like this play. He did see that Zerg went hatchery first, so he can be really safe, because especially since Zerg will be droning, trying to get its economy established. So right now, they don't really need to put on too much pressure. He could try to punish, but if it fails and he doesn't expand, he'll just be really behind. Looks
like he is actually going to go for a 1-1-1 type build, getting a starport up as well, so we may see some drop action if he chooses that. Or he's just getting the backbone tech tree up for Terran. The thing about a really good Terran player like Polar is he's kind of a jack of all trades. He knows his all-ins, he knows his macro play. You just have to be very, very keen on your scouting to make sure you just don't die outright to something you don't expect.
Right, and if we look over to the Zerg's base now, it looks like the few Marines are actually going to go up, and I'm not sure if owmygrown actually sees this because he doesn't have any of the towers. Looks like the Queen wants to plant a creep tumor, and the Queen's completely undefended with a Hellion over here, and owmygrown does not want to lose his Queen whatsoever, especially he's going to lose some drones here as well.
Oh, some Zerglings to help clean it up. Not very nice micro from Polar, just able to take out those few Zerglings. He might actually conserve. Nope, he loses his last Marine and his Hellion.
Right, so although there was a little bit of damage, owmygrown still ahead in the drone count, so nice control over there. He even brought a second Queen just in case, because you never know if some Hellions try to run up the ramp or whatnot.
There are more Hellions on the way, though.
Right, so it looks like at this point, Polar just wants to keep up the pressure, because that way he can keep Zerg on his toes, constantly keeping them accountable, not letting him making drones all the time.
Yep, owmygrown is handling it pretty well, though, not overreacting, not getting a ton of Zerglings, still droning up. If we take a look at the production tab, looks like he is still getting a bit more Zerglings, but he is maintaining drone production right now. Not yet gone to lair, delaying his lair for a bit, but getting his second gas anyway. Polar setting up the expansion, getting it nicely saturated in the meantime. And actually going for a Banshee right now. I don't think owmygrown can defend this.
Right, he has a Roach Warren about 60% done, so he wants to get up things like an Evolution Chamber. But again, I think one thing that really hurt him, but that Polar's done a really good job of, is denying him vision of the towers, basically making sure that owmygrown plays really blind to the map, because if he saw the Banshees, he'd be able to prepare right now.
Exactly. I don't see in the production tab no more queens being made, so this is going to be pretty big loss for owmygrown there. He loses the queen. He's going to lose all those drones right now if he doesn't get him out of the way. It looks like he's going to try to engage the Hellions.
Oh, but a terrible concave here. Looks like all the drones are just bunched up there. The Hellion got so many kills, and it's right now one-on-one between the queen and the Banshee, but I'm not really sure who's going to win. Looks like the queen's going to go down, and it's going to be open season for this Banshee just to go to town absolutely on these drones.
Now, owmygrown just has to keep it cool and just wait for his next queen to come up right now. He's going to evacuate those drones. But at this point, a ton of damage has been done to owmygrown. And if Polar plays this perfectly, then he should be able to clinch the game from now on.
And of course, Polar did not research Cloak, I believe. So right now, he's not really trying to invest too much into these Banshees, just trying to do a lot of pressure. But he's realizing at this point that Zerg's not really responding that well. Just going to continue to put on the hurt. But it looks like another Queen's going to just pop out and go down pretty fast, considering that this Banshee will take it out. And again, owmygrown just not going to be able to mine from this second base.
Yep, looks like he's going to try to pull back his drones and make a Hydralisk Den a very good response to these Banshees, but I think he's in a lot of trouble right now. He has surmounting force outside of his base, and he has Banshees floating around, picking off the natural. It's just going to be basically Polar trying to clean up this game from now on.
Right, and it looks like owmygrown's completely abandoned his natural expansion, not even trying to save it until he can get Hydralisk out onto the field. Still making a lot of units, though, at this point. He really needs to just mass up an army just to bust out and try to re-expand if he can. Otherwise, he has to make a giant push because his timing window is closing, considering Polar is already expanded. He's now making a lot of units. He's making Marines, tanks, even researching Stim.
Yeah, and that queen actually popped out and just tried to attack the hatchery. I think he meant to click the Banshee. Looks like the natural expansion is going to go down. A ton of drones at the main, but again, because he evacuated, and he is sending out one Hydralisk, but he's just going to wait for more to try to push back out. If this doesn't work, he's probably going to just have to leave the game at this point.
Right, and I think right now Polar realizes this, and he's definitely going to make a giant push soon. There's units now streaming completely over to owmygrown's base. He's got tanks, and so there's pretty much, I don't think owmygrown can hold off this push at this point with just Roach Hydra against Marine, Tank, and Banshees.
Yeah, he only has about 2 Roaches right now. His Hydras, his one last anti-airs is going to go down right now, and he's just going to be able to waltz into this base and clean up. He's pulling the drones off the line, never a good sign, especially against Hellions. He does manage to take it down, though.
Right, and only Marines are just going to get surrounded. There are a lot of drones angry to get revenge for all of his fallen Zerg brethren. But it doesn't matter, because as soon as tanks arrive to the battle, those drones are going to fall. This Banshee, how many kills has this Banshee got? It's got 11 kills.
It's a sergeant.
And by the end of the game, I'm pretty sure if owmygrown just waits it out, it'll probably have like 25 kills.
Yep, owmygrown just kind of delaying the GG at this point. But, he will be able to maybe snipe that tank.
Oh, Polar looks like a little bit getting too greedy, not waiting for a huge force, just straggling individual streams of units in. At this point, Polar is taking a third momentarily, making another command center, and looks like he's just going to try to pull back, see if he can just mass up a strong force, because right now, owmygrown's being pretty scrappy. Yeah,
he is actually managing to hold after, I've kind of predicted this game would end very soon. So props to owmygrown being able to hold with this force here. But as Polar builds up his forces outside his base, he's just going to make one giant push and overwhelm him.
Right, and of course, owmygrown trying to re-expand, but Polar just going to deny, set up a really strong contain. And especially because owmygrown is just making more and more Hydralisks, he's not going to be able to bust it if he chooses to stick with Hydralisk tech.
Yeah, owmygrown losing his natural expansion, and right now, what is he doing in his main base? I think he's just trying to match up massive Hydralisk, but it's not going to do him any good. These Marines are going to come in and stim and just take out the rest of the defending forces right now.
Oh, and a lot of Zerglings hatching, but it was not enough, so it looks like owmygrown will call GG, and Polar will take game number 1.
Yep.